Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the October edition of the Indiana CTO Council's Lunch and Learn session. We're going to give everybody just a moment to get in. I see the attendees are slowly popping in as we are kind of turning the clock to 11. Eric, I see you have joined us. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for joining. We are talking about maximizing your CoSN membership, and um, we're just really excited about the opportunities of everything you're going to be able to see today when we do a little touring around the website. To kick off our session, we want to first thank our Platinum partners and sponsors, and you can check out everyone there and make sure that you are engaging with those partners. They offer a lot of services that you could find very helpful in your districts. So our goals for today are to connect our members with the resources that are available through CoSN. So if you are a member of the Indiana CTO Council, you are also a member of CoSN, the national organization. So there are so many benefits that you are able to capitalize from CoSN, and that's what we really want to make sure that you know what's available to you. So we also have panelists joining in that are going to share how they've utilized some of these resources as we go through what Jill's going to be talking about today. So here's our panel. Of course, I'm Cassie Gobin. I host the monthly Lunch and Learn from the Indiana CTO Council. And I'm going to let everyone else do a quick introduction of themselves, and then we'll throw it to the sponsors for a little commercial break.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chantel Manahan. I am the Director of Technology at MSD Esteban County Schools here in Angola, Indiana, and I'm the chair of the Indiana CTO Council for the rest of this year.
Pete isn't here. I think he'll be joining us momentarily, I'm hoping. So Jeremy, I'm going to throw it to you next.
Certainly. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jeremy Miller. I'm the Director of Technology for Middlebury Community Schools up in the northern part of the state, and I am a member of the Indiana CTO Board.
Great. And I'm Jill Brown. I am the Director of Professional Learning for CoSN. I've been with CoSN for about 5 years. Before that, I was in ed tech and K-12 for my career before this.
Thanks, Jill. All right, I'm going to throw it to Eric. You have the floor.
Thank you. I'll try to be brief here. So good morning, and thanks for everyone for joining. And a big thank you to the CoSN board here for allowing us to help be part of this. My name is Eric Heinrich. I am the field CTO focusing on K-12 at Juniper Networks. I've also been in the public sector as a CTO, interim CTO at San Francisco Unified School District for 7 years. Been part of the SITE program here in California, formerly SETPA. I've also been on the board of SHLB, the Schools Health and Library Broadband. So I'm entrenched in this, and this matters deeply to me. So thank you for letting me participate. And you'll see there's a small icon in the upper right-hand corner there that we are a proud sponsor of the CoSN 2025 survey. So please be sure to connect with CoSN and check that out. Who is Juniper? Well, we're the leader in the upper right-hand quadrant of the wired and wireless LAN for schools. You can go to the next slide here. You know, that's kind of the obligatory slide there to show where we are. We're not new to the industry. We're not small. We have a big focus on education in K-12 in particular. This is just a few. This is our traditional logo slide. These are just a few of our customers, but we have case studies of numerous customers, and we would love to come talk to you about what we're doing and how they're adopting it. And look at the next slide. And what I really wanted to take away is that we focus on the student and teacher experience. And this quote at the top here, I think, is critical because this is common when I go around talking to my school customers and partners, that there is zero network tickets during assessment testing. So we're very proud of it. It's really about proactive. This is the benefit of AI, is checking proactively the quality of the network and avoiding the problems in the first place. And when they occur, remediating them very, very quickly. So lots of information here, but largely we do this through our Juniper Mist platform, which is what we're known for. We can go to the next slide, which is covered in that CoSN survey. You'll see that infographic on the right. I encourage you again to go to their website at cosn.org/AI and get more details about that. But you can see how well aligned. The idea is that 57% of schools are already adopting AI in some way for network operations, but only 10% of the network is being benefited from that. So as you can see here, what Mist brings is really AI across all of the network so that you can get that benefit across all of these platforms. Next slide, last slide, I believe. And what I really want you to take away here is this concept of moving towards a self-driving network, using a familiar concept that in the beginning we had, warning lights on your dash when your engine got too hot, when your oil was too low. We don't even check our oil before we drive our car every morning, which was originally what people did before they drove their cars. Then we eventually got to things like cruise control that would simply keep your car moving at the same speed, but didn't do anything to your steering. You'd have to tap the brakes to disconnect that, right? Today, we've seen Teslas, we've seen many different driving cars where we're now at the assisted driving level, and that's what we're bringing you. We want to give you a level of trust in your network. So what we do is we give you an insight and a recommended action. You can take that action yourself. If it works the way you anticipate, simply click a slider over there so the next time we can do that for you through automation. That's it for us today. I just wanted to give you a really quick overview of who we are. I hope we have an opportunity to talk to you a little bit deeper, and I hope you have a great session today with CoSN.
Thank you so much, Eric. Okay, Mike, we're throwing it to you. Oh, you're muted. There you go.
No, perfect. Sorry about that. Thank you, Cassie, and good morning, good afternoon to everyone in the Indiana CTO family. It's great to see you all again. Hopefully we'll see each other again in person soon. Just to no slides today, but just want to make sure that I make the reiteration of making sure that if we haven't done any sort of enablement session yet, please take the time to schedule one with us. And if you need a contact info, Cassie, I could forward you my contact info, for the rest of the group as well. But essentially, there are tools for those of you that are a part of the state MDR program, State of Indiana MDR program, as you know, that's being powered by CrowdStrike's Falcon Complete MDR solution. There are tools there that we definitely need to leverage and make sure that you learn how to use. From a reactive perspective, our Falcon Complete team is already doing the day-to-day things for you. Now it's time to focus more on the proactive approach, right? And the tools that we have as part of the Indiana state bundle, it certainly has things to offer that you can leverage for your organization from a proactive approach. So please, I beg you, take some time, give it a test of, my SE Eddie and I. We just ask for 60 minutes. Check it out. I know we've got a handful of folks already that have done these sessions, and we've gotten some very, very good feedback so far. So we want to make sure that continues and we get around to everyone that's a part of the program. If you're not a part of the program, please get in touch with me and I could get you connected to the right folks that might be able to help you to get into that program still. Again, Mike Lamdigan from CrowdStrike. Thank you so much to the Indiana CTO group here again for always welcoming us and having us be a part of this. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, I think we're ready to get into the meat of our conversation. And Jill is going to be really starting out with a tour of the CoSN website. So I'm going to let her take over the screen share. And as she goes through the CoSN website, we're going to be chiming in on what resources we've utilized or we see great opportunity with. So Jill, I'm going to throw it over to you.
Okay, it says I can't share yet. So I don't know if I need to be co-host probably in the webinar app. Still looking. So welcome everybody. I'm thrilled to be here. We love your chapter. It's an amazing partner with CoSN. We're very fortunate to have you and all of your members. Also, your organization takes really good care of you. So you're lucky to have membership to CoSN. And there's a ton of things that, that you can have access to and benefits as a member. In fact, so much, it's hard to find sometimes. So I will show you different places to look for things. And I think the best way to do that typically is a website. It kind of gives me an outline because that's kind of everything. I think Cassie's still looking.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Just 1 second.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'll start, we have a CoSN network, and I'll show you that when I get in. It's a place where it can kind of be your place to go ask questions. I'm having this issue at school. I'm looking at this, you know, what do you do? What are your options? What, you know, what have you done that can help me? I don't know if anyone here has used the network, can speak to that.
Yeah, I'll jump in and say the network has recently been reformatted. There's a new provider and it's a lot easier to navigate than it was before. And if you've not used the CoSN network, it's kind of like our HEC listserv, but at a national scale. So if you have a question for HEC, I would suggest if you're a CoSN member, you also put it in the CoSN network, and then you'll get Indiana responses. And we know the HEC listserv kind of encompasses a little more than Indiana. But then you'll get a national perspective as well.
Great. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think one of the cool things about it is it's a, as Chantel was saying, a good place to kind of get national perspectives as you're kind of maybe asking a question or something like that. But there's also a lot of the CoSN staff do a good job of kind of getting you like early release kind of access, or at least kind of letting you know when things are popping. You know, because there's constantly releases happening, and so the network is a good place to do it. And I found that the new one is so way better than what we've worked with in the past. So it's a great upgrade.
Yeah, we just started a new one, and for that very purpose. So we're very happy with it. Cassie, if you can't, I can just have you share the CoSN website if you want, and then walk you through
That's
that.
actually what I was going to suggest. It will not let me add you as a co-host for some reason.
Yeah,
So
it might be, the back end, it needs to be turned
yes.
on somewhere, and we'd have to leave to go do that, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah. All right, just 1 second.
It's easy to get to too. It's COSN.org, CoSN.org.
Yes. All right. We haven't lost anybody yet, so hang in there, everyone. Okay, I'm logged in, so I'm going to share my screen, and Jill, you just let me know where you would like me to go.
I will.
Okay. Here we go.
So up at the top, you see, you know, all the join and about advocacy policies where you can keep up with all of our, you know, trying to make sure that we're being supported as much as possible by federal government, and not only in money, but in policies and things that impact our schools on a daily basis. Partnering with CoSN is for our corporate partnerships. And then the CoSN network is what we were just talking about. You don't have to go there. But that's where you would get to it if you were interested in that. And then we have our career center. So if you're in that space, that's a good place to go if you're looking for something or want to see what's out there. So go ahead and roll over on Ed Tech topics. There you go. So our main Ed Tech topics are, you can see them all there. Pete is actually, so accessibility, that's a big thing. And we are trying to walk the talk as much as possible. We all know it's a big job, but we also know it's incredibly important. And then Pete, artificial intelligence, he is our project director for that. I don't know if you want to say something real quick about it.
Yeah, it's so this is an area where we also have a committee working, and that committee is actually creating a number of products, and so some of those are actually in beta right now with a group of different people. But this is the place for all things AI. We just launched kind of a new report, literally just the other day, on AI in education in terms of just sort of like a survey summary from the survey that we did about the last couple of months. It's just a good place to find those things that we've been talking about for a long time, like the maturity tool, but also some new things that'll be kind of rolling out over the next couple of months as well.
Great. And as far as that committee, so our committee is made up of CoSN members who volunteer for different committees. So it is people that are boots on the ground, helping decide what other people might find helpful. So, it's the true membership model where we support our members with our members. Then belonging and inclusion, we have a committee working on that. And there's and then cybersecurity. There's a lot going on there, and it's Cybersecurity Month, people. So empowered superintendents, that is a board of people that have to be invited, but we try to have a superintendent from every state. So you can look at the superintendents that are a part of our committee there, and they do a lot of advice for us as well, trying to find out what would superintendents get from CoSN that would be helpful. Environmental,
Can I
yeah,
chime in there for a second?
certainly, anytime.
Under the empowered superintendents, there are a lot of, like, they call them one pagers, but they're usually 2 or 3. But they're just kind of little snapshots that you can give, especially if your superintendent isn't very tech savvy, that just gives them just enough information to be able to answer a question maybe, and then point the person asking that question to you for a more in-depth answer. It's like just in time knowledge. The other thing that's in that section that I really leaned on when I took over as a CTO 10 years ago was there's a Danielson framework evaluation tool in there. So you can match up with the same format of evaluation, but it's based on the framework of essential skills. And I felt, I had a very generic kind of administrator evaluation rubric when I first started, and finding that really helped me show my superintendent, like, this is really what I do, not all of those generic things. So I think that's a really great resource that's in there.
Perfect. Yeah, and anybody chime in at any point if you have something that would be interesting to the group. Environmental sustainability, that's a new group. We work with CETA on that, and they're coming out with resources to help in that area for schools. K-12 ed tech innovation. We have a driving K-12 report that we put out every year. There's an advisory board for that as well. And this ed tech innovation committee is one that works all year long, creating resources that are tied to that report, which is timely every year on what are the main things that schools are dealing with. Circuits is like network and systems design, cloud infrastructure, all those things. There's a lot of helpful information in there for you if you're in charge of pieces of your network. And then interoperability, there's resources in there. I think this group knows what interoperability is. Sometimes people are like, what is that? But this group, I am certain, knows. And then student data privacy, big topic as well. And then the trusted learning environment. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we go into this. Okay, up to news and publications. Thank you. Blogs, we have blogs coming out regularly, a lot from these committees that we have. We invite blogs for members. If you have a story of something that has happened that would help other members, write it down. Just one main idea. It doesn't have to be huge, but wow, we had this problem and this is how we fixed it. Those are just great, great, great stories to share with other people. News would be more like our press releases and things where we're highlighted in other news sources. Podcasts, our podcast channel is ramping up. We are now putting out podcasts a couple a week. And so if you do listen to podcasts, I would follow us on wherever you listen to your podcasts. State of Ed Tech Leadership is a yearly report that we do. It gives you a global view of a whole bunch of things. It's really large. So it's one of those things that we go back and reference all year long. Like, oh, what does the State of Ed Tech Leadership Survey say? And then you use that data to help you with whatever you're doing at the time. And social media and ed. So that's our social media area. Education and events. Our CoSN conference, of course, is coming up in Chicago this year. It will be in the spring. I can't remember the dates. I'd have to look at it, but it's in like April, March, April. Anyway, Chantel's like, I'm going to put this in the chat. The CTO clinics, those are regional clinics, and I would assume you guys have a clinic, so everybody here probably knows what that is. The CTO Academy for early career and aspiring CTOs, that is just launching. It starts out every year. If you're not familiar with it, and you guys have a CTO to be program too, so you have something that's you know, that is an offering for you as well, which I hear amazing things about. That this is another one to look at if you're interested. I'm sure there's crossover in some of the content. Event calendar, I spend a lot of time in there because I manage a lot of our events, but, so it's a great place to go, hey, what's coming up, what's going to happen. CoSN new releases, I would like you to click on that if you don't mind. Okay, if you scroll down, you will see, like Pete just mentioned, that report, that AI report that recently came out. So you can see what's going on the left side is member only type things, or where there's member discounts. And on the right are our open resources. So this is a place to go to make sure that you don't miss anything. We put everything on here that is coming up as far as events, and then as things are published. So for example, we're going to have a series of 4 blogs on cybersecurity because it's Cybersecurity Month. So when those get posted, they will be put in here and you can see them. Okay, go ahead and go back to the main page. And then year-round catalog. So that's my catalog that shows you the types of courses that we have every year, spring, summer, fall. And then you can click on there and find the exact dates. Those are also in the calendar. So there's member discounts for that. And you can see we've got a great offering of courses, and they're all taught by experts in the field who know what they're doing and are really good instructors. So they're budgeting, TCO, and BOI. We also have a workshop on that. We've got some more resources that are going to be coming out on that as well. The Digital Leap Success Matrix is kind of a cornerstone, a flagship document that helps guide what CoSN does. You take a look at that, and it's a real framework for the role that most of you play and what your schools are doing. And disaster preparedness, that's just such an important area. Those resources are in other places as well, but we do have them grouped here. That's one of those things that it's going to happen. Something is probably going to happen, and the better prepared you are, the less painful it is. And then peer review, a team comes in and does a review of your entire school. I used to work in an independent school, and we would get accreditation reviews every 5 to 7 years. And it reminds me of like an accreditation review. It's incredibly very specific to your school and feedback from people that do what you do. So it's really valuable. Resource library. Anything we publish that's on those new releases is also in the resource library, and you can search by topic. We're working really hard with our SEO, so you can go in and search by topic if you're trying to find something specific in cybersecurity, data privacy, or whatever. So you can go in and search that way and find resources. And then the Trusted Learning Environment Seal. Who wants to speak to that? I'm sure there's a lot of experience here on that one.
I'll speak to it because we have that cohort going. So we have 40 some districts that are working on their trusted learning environment mini seals. There's 5 different kind of areas to focus on. And so they're all picking one to start with. I know that in that group, we already have 2 that are applying any day now for their first mini seal. And so the goal is to try to improve your student data privacy through improving your practices, improving your practice in these 5 practice areas, which include professional development, data, leadership, so on and so forth. And so we have a great opportunity because the state of Indiana paid for us to have a cohort. So it's a great opportunity because 1, it's free. That's always great. And 2, not free, but the state paid for it. And 2, because we are working together. So, you know, just like anything else, those group projects that you did in college, yeah, there is always somebody that tends to work a little harder than the rest. Why not take advantage of that? Because if they're really motivated, you know, you can kind of work together and all kind of raise the level of your student data privacy in the different areas. So really a great program. Lynette does a good job as well. And I would encourage, if you're interested in that, I'll put a link, or I'll send a link to Cassie to put into the group here to sign up.
Great. And we also do have a self-directed course that's available with all of those areas and resources. You know, any school, you're going to go in and say, okay, we're really strong in these areas. And then you look at the other areas and you're like, oh, we need to do that. We need to do that. And find examples and chunk away at it one step at a time, get better and better. Is there anything else on TLE that we wanted to mention while we're here?
I mean, I can share. My organization is part of the cohort that we're doing, and I think it's been tremendously helpful when we've had our in-person meetings. I've been able to bring a couple of other leadership team members to kind of join the conversation, and it has actually made a huge difference on their willingness to engage in the conversation at a deeper level. Just last week, Pete, was it we met? I brought our chief academic officer with us, and I felt like that was like finally getting the hook in to getting her on board to like really engage in the conversation. So I would just share, you know, if you take advantage of the opportunity, don't go at it alone, but bring some of your other leadership team members along. And whenever they can experience it, I think it's just heard differently than you sitting in a room in your building and trying to say, this is important. When they hear it's important from other people, it seems sometimes to sink in a little bit more,
Mhm.
you know.
And the great thing about we didn't used to have an opportunity to do mini seals. This is just sort of a new thing this past year, and it's something I've been very you know, in favor of, because what it allows us to do is there's one or two, maybe three areas that you might be in charge of as a technology leader, and so you could focus on those. But then there's always two or three, maybe four that you don't. And so as you focus on your area and get that mini seal, and it kind of elevates to cabinet conversations and maybe something with the board, that elevates the need for student data privacy conversations among the executive leadership, if you will, of the district. And so then it kind of becomes a question of, oh, okay, we got one. How many are there? Oh, there are five. What do we need to do to get the other ones? And it's like, all right, now you've got buy-in from the curriculum people who are probably in charge of PD and so on and so forth. So it really helps to get the conversation started. And that's really what CoSN is so good at, whether you're talking about this or any of the other programs, is, you know, we provide ways of having a framework for best practice and improvement. And those things tend to be a little bit of an opportunity to get a wedge into the, you know, a difficult opportunity to kind of get in front of people that are in leadership to say, this is an important thing, cybersecurity or student data privacy or adopting AI. And so here's what we've already begun. But there's so much more, but we need to have that conversation. We have to have that buy-in all around the table. And it's really another great example of that.
And I'm gonna jump in here just for a second too, for the participants on the call today that may be hearing about this for the first time, or maybe last year wasn't the right timing for you as a district to jump in. Pete has put the sign up form in the chat. So that explains to you how you can get signed up, and there's just it's a Google form. So feel free if you're interested.
Yeah, and I mean, as we all know, you can't do it on your own. So, you know, they may, hey, you have student data privacy, and you're like, I cannot do it by myself. It is impossible. And you know, CoSN comes in with that national lens to kind of validate everything that you try to say. And Cassie, I hear you at my school. I would say this, and that, and that, and another person would come in and say it, and they're like, "Did you know?" And I'm like, "Really?" Anyway, so it does help to have that national voice behind your work. So, oh, there you go. Cassie's putting that in there. Okay. So Yep.
I'd say one more thing along those lines, Jill, because we partner with AASA, because we partner with ASPO, so, and others, those folks, when they see that, then and many of these things are also being pushed out also by AASA or ASBO or whoever. And so that sort of all of a sudden makes it something that maybe worth thinking and talking about. That's again another way that we can kind of elevate you as the tech leader into that conversation, because it's like, oh, well, that's coming from my association too, or they're also partnering with us on that. And so that does carry a lot of weight in a lot of districts.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Cool. And then CETL. I know you guys are movers and shakers in CETL. So what do you want to say about this area for the wonderful state of Indiana? Very competitive here.
Well, of course, we have a great cohort, which Pete actually is leading in many ways, but we also have the opportunity with Darlene Kennedy. If you don't want to be part of the CTO to be cohort, she actually leads some study sessions for maybe more experienced technology leaders who just want to prepare to take the test. Maybe they don't want to go through the whole cohort and have a mentor, but they are interested in taking the test. And if that's something that you're interested in, it's a service that the board has been offering the last few years, and quite a few have taken advantage of with success.
And that's just a CETL study cohort. And actually, she's trying to get people together for that right now. So if you're interested, now is a great time to hear about it, and reach out to Darlene Kennedy to get involved with that. Her information I know is on the website. Maybe somebody could drop it in too.
And if you're not already tuning in on the third Thursday of the month to our state EdTech little webinar get-togethers, I know they'll be sharing information about that as part of that third Thursday as well. And there'll be, of course, a session at HEC that Darlene and Jeremy will be leading about EdTech leadership, the CETL certification, and the CTO to be as well. So super exciting. And I would say, even if you're an experienced technology leader, and it's worth it to go through the year long, in my opinion, because of the network that you build. It's a little more secluded to be a part of that seasoned study group. And the CTO to be is about more than just test prep. It's really about making sure you're fully connected with the people doing the work in Indiana. And I can't tell you how much being involved in that cohort has impacted my own career. And I'm looking at the panelists, I'm like, yep, yep, you too.
That is great. That is great. Your state does some amazing things. Yeah, the CETL certification is very much a practical, you have to know it in practice to pass the exam. It's not just about the exam, it's about being a practitioner at the highest level of skill. And then when you get your CETL, that shows that it says, hey, this person knows what they're doing in this area. And if you pull on the CETL thing again real quick, it is based on the framework of essential skills, which was just now revamped. We redo that every 5 years. They do a huge jobs analysis, drill it down and see what are people really doing in the field in this area. And then we use that for all of our resources, the things that we're providing to help you do your job. So it's really, it's very realistic based. We've had people say, well, how do I study for the exam? Well, it's not like like a C++ or whatever. It's totally different. It's about being able to answer a question. If this is happening in your district, what maybe should you do next, and those sorts of things. And that comes with experience. And as they said, working with other people, right? Collaborating, people who are parts of cohorts and groups talking about all these different areas in the framework of essential skills tend to do much better on the exam. You don't have to take a cohort to take the exam, but it's gonna increase your chance of success, because sometimes in your job you deal with some of the areas, but not all of the areas. And so you get to hear and talk about what other people are doing. So there's a whole bunch of information on CETL, and you can always contact certification@cosen.org if you have specific questions for you. So the last tab, the CoSN network we talked about, you could get to that both ways. Membership, which you guys have, We have state chapters, which this is. There's committee groups like Pete's group and all the other groups. You can see which ones that you can apply for as a member. And then there's some that are appointed that you can't. This is a Blaschke fund. We just had the huge Blaschke report come out for this year, and it's on screen time. Not that that's, you know, a burning topic or anything, but there's a whole bunch of resources on that. Our Blaschke fellow was very prolific, so you have a lot of content in that area. And then oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, when that hit my inbox, I actually forwarded it to our chief academic officer, and I have her as a user in our district membership, and she was already reading it. And I thought that was great. So if people haven't added, I think you can have up to 10 people. Jill, I'm sorry, maybe you're going to talk about this in a minute, but you can add additional district people to your CoSN account, and then that gets them on that email list. And so some of the things that I see that I'm like, oh, I think that this would have value for them, I might bump to them. And it is very exciting whenever they tell me they've already engaged in whatever has hit their inbox.
Very
I
cool.
would add that you can have 10 voting members, and that's really important. But you can have as many members from your district as you want, because your whole district are CoSN members, not just those 10 people. So sign all your people up, even if you're in a large district, but make sure you have 10 people designated as voting members, because they do get to vote and decide who ends up on the CoSN board. And well, I have to run for re-election, so please
Right.
vote for me.
You need to reelect Chantel. So.
Definitely. Pete's been on the board as well, so, and maybe others here, I don't know. So cool. And awards and recognition, I'm sure you guys are in the loop on that, because your communication is so strong in your chapter. Most of those we recognize at the conference, and then just some FAQs right though. So that's kind of the overview of everything CoSN. I would be open to any questions or any other thoughts from other people here.
Seeing much in the chat necessarily.
One thing I will say is we kind of have, you know, a few main places for professional learning. We have workshops, which are 3 hours. So you'll say meet Monday at 10 o'clock for 3 weeks. You know, you meet, you know, Monday and the next Monday and the next Monday. So very deep dive into a very specific topic with amazing instructors. And then we have courses, which are a little bit longer, 6 to 8 weeks, and they meet once a week. Obviously, those get a little more in depth, but they're pretty big topics that need to be covered. We have such good feedback from people that engage in those courses. And then we have, of course, our webinars, our blogs, and the content and resources that we put out, like the documents and stuff that Pete's committee puts out, and you know, the survey we recently did that was sponsored. You know, a really good look at what's going on nationally. So, and I'm very happy to be part of an organization that had a strong program coming in, and it's just getting better and better.
Well, it doesn't look like we have any additional questions that have hit the chat. So I think we can probably wrap up here. Jill, thank you so much for giving us the tour, talking through the resources that are available. I know it's been, you know, a huge piece of how I've grown it as a leader in the last couple of years, really. So I appreciate it.
I think also one of the things to mention is that when you go to the resource library that Jill pointed out earlier, and you filter for, you know, one of, I don't know, there's like 40 different topics in there. Every time you pull up a list, what you'll see on the side of the list is a bunch of hyperlink things that'll say, you know, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, IT management. So all the kind of areas that we focus on, the essential skills and other things that aren't essential skills, like podcasts or whatever, those are all hyperlinked with all the resources. So you can quickly kind of scroll through and see, all right, what are the things that are covered? And then also, oh, I want to know more about that. And you can kind of link through with that. So that's one of the cool things I think as well with the new website is it's given us some additional capabilities that allow you to find what you're looking for a little bit easier. So I've made use of that many times.
And the search button up at the top right. The search is actually very good. I've been on many websites when you put in a keyword and you're like, really? I know that's there. You're not finding it, but I think our search is really well. I use it all the time to find something that I know we have and I don't remember where it's at. So I go up there and try to find the best keyword to find it, and it does a good job.
And then I'll just add that we just saw kind of the top layer of the indexing here. If you click into any one of those single things, there are layers upon layers upon layers of information. So if you are looking for information from the circuits group, everything about your network and infrastructure, for example, you're going to click there, and then a waterfall of resources will come your way. So don't just think that you're going to go there and like, oh, this is their page for all of this. Oh, no, no, no. Lots and lots of resources. Download the checklist. There's a plan, and it just keeps going.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I'm going to hop up. I do want to kind of just draw everyone's attention as we are wrapping up. We actually are having a special edition, we'll call it Lunch and Learn, on October 30th, where we're going to do a HEC session preview of all the Indiana CTO Council sessions that are going to be in our room at HEC. And so we hope you will make room in your schedule as you're registering to stop by for those sessions. And our booth is going to be in the same location over at the Crown Plaza, kind of in the hallway that takes you through to the other sessions in the Crown Plaza building. And so make sure you stop and get your Save the Date t-shirt. That's kind of our kickoff every year. And I will say that Jeremy Miller has been working on our giveaway, and there is a chance that the giveaway is going to be a guitar to go with the theme of our clinic, which is in the spring, which Chantel has envisioned and created. And so the theme is EdTech Leadership Amplified. So we hope we're kind of getting a little bit of interest sparked for everyone for the clinic this spring as well.
And Cassie, let me jump in and just let everybody on the call know that for the booth at the HEC conference, we will be sending out an invite here in the next couple of weeks for people to sign up to help man the booth. So we'd love to have any of you help us with that for an hour or so. That's a great help to our organization. You get to meet and talk to lots of people as well.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. All right, you can always check out where we are connected on Twitter, LinkedIn. Of course, our Lunch and Learn sessions are posted to YouTube for viewing later if you miss out. So make sure you check that out. Otherwise, we are going to be finished for today. Thanks, everyone.